The Chinese government is expecting just everybody to believe them. These are the same people, folks, that are trying to always manipulate their currency, steal other countries' tech, produce freaking viruses like this, put people in the camps, re-education camps, right? The Uyghurs. Like, all this stuff, and we're just supposed to believe you and your experts when they say anything? I don't think so, man. You're out of your damn mind. I ain't gonna believe anything you say. Welcome to the Bald Brad Show. Our story of the day is dealing with China refusing to work with the World Health Organization on investigating the lab leak theory. Now, we said this was going to happen. We did an episode talking about if China was found responsible for either intentionally or unintentionally developing this virus and it being exposed globally, that they should have to pay reparations. Well, I said, yes, one, they should have to pay reparations, regardless of however that comes in monetary terms or removal of debt. But I said, well, it's going to be hard to prove that they did this intentionally or heck, even unintentionally, because they're not going to allow people to come in and just investigate willy-nilly into Wuhan, into China. And now it's all coming to fruition. Just like we said, folks, all of you said it as well in the comments that it's going to be hard to prove intent. It's going to be hard to get investigators in there to look at this stuff. And just a week later, actually less than a week later, now we actually have an article on it. This comes from Ryan Saavedra over at the Daily Wire. If you're not already a member, please go over and become a subscriber today. He titles it, China refuses to cooperate with World Health Organization probe into lab leak theory. It's against science. Yes, that is what China's saying. It is against science. The stuff that they say is just asinine in this article. It's just ridiculous. But I digress. It says here, Communist China is refusing to cooperate with the second phase of an investigation by the World Health Organization into the origins of the coronavirus pandemic, an investigation that is expected to focus on the possibility that the pandemic originated in a Chinese lab. In some aspects, this is a quote, by the way, in some aspects, the World Health Organization's plan for next phase investigation of the coronavirus origin doesn't respect common sense, and it's against science, said the Chinese National Health Commission. It's impossible for us to accept such a plan. Yeah. It sounds like a little bit of a cover-up. If this didn't originate out of the lab there, then you would have no problems, no qualms with somebody coming in and investigating. It's kind of like when the cops pull you over, right? And they're like, hey, you know what? I have suspicion that maybe there's something in your vehicle. Can I search it? Even though if they already have suspicion or they see something in your vehicle, they could just go in and search it anyways. But regardless of that point, they search your, you go, oh, well, I'm not going to let you search my vehicle. It's like, well, why not? If there's nothing in there, you wouldn't have a problem with them searching your vehicle. Same thing here. They clearly are trying to cover up something, folks. And I'm one of those lab leak theory people that believe in that, whether one wants to think that's a conspiracy theory or not. That's just kind of what I'm thinking is more inclined to have happened. Well, that same person says, we hope the World Health Organization would seriously review the considerations and suggestions made by Chinese experts and truly treat the origin tracing of COVID-19 virus as a scientific matter and get rid of political interference. What? I love how they said, oh, suggestions made by Chinese experts, like as if the other whole entirety of the world's experts in the scientific field shouldn't have a say in the matter. Only the Chinese people should. Just, I can't believe that this is coming out from China. And it sounds like something that would be written by a 7th grader. It's not even legitimate here on the common sense. They should deal with it as a scientific matter, as if it's not being dealt with as a scientific matter. Unbelievable. The same person goes on to say, no worker or researcher at the WIV got infected by coronavirus without evidence, and despite a report from the Wall Street Journal earlier this year, they said 3 workers at the lab became ill with symptoms consistent with COVID-19 shortly after China acknowledged the first cases in the pandemic, which we know were a lot later than when originally the pandemic had started. We know China was trying to keep this under wraps. They still let people leave their country. They still let flights being taken out of China all across the world, which is why we have this problem. Quote, the details of the reporting go beyond a State Department fact sheet issued during the final days of Trump administration, which said that several researchers at the lab a center for the study of coronavirus and other pathogens, became sick in autumn of 2019 with symptoms consistent with both COVID-19 and common seasonal illness, the Wall Street Journal noted. The disclosure of the number of researchers, the timing of their illness, and the hospital visits come on the eve of a meeting with the World Health Organization's decision-making body, which is expected to discuss the next phase of an investigation into COVID-19 origins. Boy, talk about a cover-up story going on here, huh, folks? China claims that the first confirmed case of coronavirus came on December 8th, 2019. Chinese officials have reportedly tried to dismiss accusations that the pandemic could have originated in a Wuhan lab, which is where Chinese researchers worked on bat coronaviruses. The South China Morning Post reported in March 2020 that according to the Chinese government data observed by publication, the first confirmed case of COVID-19 occurred on November 17th, 2019. And you know what's interesting about this? Like the Chinese government is expecting just everybody to believe them. You know, these are the same people, folks, that are trying to always manipulate their currency, steal other countries' tech, produce freaking viruses like this, put people in the camps, re-education camps, right? The Uyghurs. Like all this stuff, and we're just supposed to believe you and your experts when they say anything? I don't think so, man. You're out of your damn mind. I ain't gonna believe anything you say. Heck, you restrict information and the flow of information in your own country. You make your own citizens believe what they want to believe. I know that sounds a hell of a lot like our media, folks, but at least we still have freedom of speech here where they don't. It says the World Health Organization is demanding audits be conducted on Chinese labs in the vicinity of where the first cases of COVID-19 were identified. The Washington Post reported last week that the World Health Organization, in response to questions from the newspaper, will change a joint report with China on the origins of pandemic to clarify that the first family cluster was not linked to a seafood market in Wuhan. Now, as many of you know, that story goes back to the wet markets there in China, that people got it from eating bats there or eating some sort of animal. And that kind of was the origination of where COVID came from. And then it kind of got out that it came from the possibility of a lab leak that was dealing with bats and dealing with a manipulation of viruses. It's just the whole thing here is just nuts with the idea that the World Health Organization is already somewhat corrupted. And so I don't even know how I feel with them going in and doing an investigation because they're kind of in bed with China. So I don't know why China just wouldn't let them go in anyways, because they're kind of in conjunction with one another. But hey, I digress. It's all silliness at this point. The latest news comes as the Biden administration now acknowledges the possibility that the pandemic originated from a Chinese lab is now at least likely as a theory that it originated in nature. Oh, now they want to say that it's a possibility. See, before it was just a conspiracy theory. Before, you Republicans and conservatives were all just conspiracy theorists, you bigots. Oh, but now it's a possibility for us, huh? See how this works, folks? Oh, you know, Republicans are always first to hop on something that could be a possibility. And then later on, the Democrats and the left go, oh, you know, shoot, maybe it did happen there. Holy crap. But there you have it, folks. You have here China refusing to cooperate with the World Health Organization on the probe into the lab leak theory. And by the way, at any point if investigators do get in there, it's been well over a year. You think the stuff has already been cleaned up? You think this stuff has already been burned, like the paperwork? So I don't know even if they would find anything. Hell, the people aren't going to talk. In a communist government, you think they'll disappear a little bit here? We already see cases like that all across the world where countries like China or Russia are getting rid of journalists, getting rid of people just disappearing. You see this happening in Cuba, the protesters going missing. So nobody here would talk. Hell, would you talk knowing your government's going to come kill you and possibly your family? I don't think you would talk. I would talk about, what are you talking about? Bats? We don't got no bats, as there's bats just flying around everywhere. I don't see nothing. That ain't mine, you know? Like we always see from the show Cops. Bunch of crack cocaine in a guy's ass. That ain't mine. I don't know how that got there. These ain't even my jeans. These ain't even my hands. It's just like a bunch of it's a bunch of craziness. Thank you, folks, for dealing with my shenanigans. I love just trying to make some of these episodes fun and a little bit interesting. I love to laugh. I always try to make these come out a little bit too serious sometimes, but in general, I find this all comedic. Just politics in general. This is not comedic. This is actually very serious because I want to get to the root cause of what's going on with this lab leak theory. But there you have it, folks. This again comes from the Daily Wire. Please like and subscribe to this video. If you enjoy the Bald Brad Show, please share it on your social media accounts. Send it, copy and paste the link through text message. Do all of those things. We're trying to grow here at the Bald Brad Show. I'll start running ads once again to try and gather more subscribers, but it's coming out of my own pocket. It is kind of expensive here, but that's what we're going to have to do, it looks like, to get more subscribers and build our community, because we're having that push down coming down from YouTube here. So that seems the only way to really gain a massive amount of subscribers at the moment here. So with that being said, folks, I will see you a little bit later here on the Bald Brad Show.